Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're strapping in for a discussion that connects two forces really shaping our world. The dizzying growth of artificial intelligence and something much quieter, human well-being.
It does feel like an unlikely pairing on the surface, doesn't it?
Totally.
When most people think AI, their mind goes to, job losses or maybe a chat bot that's gone wrong. But our mission today, and we're drawing a lot from Faris Ediyati's analysis on this, is to really shift that focus.
Yeah, because AI is already it's woven into your life. It's in your email, your GPS, your search results. We're deliberately going to set aside the big existential worries for a bit and look at the positive feedback loops.
Right.
What good is AI actually doing for us right now?
Well, this deep dive is going to unpack two really critical aspects of that. First, what the source calls a Gutenberg moment, this radical democratization of knowledge.
Okay.
And second, AI's role as a kind of digital peacekeeper, fighting hate speech and disinformation online.
Let's jump right into that first one then. Knowledge equity. When we say democratization of knowledge, why is that so fundamental for well-being on a global scale?
Well, it's because a lack of access isn't neutral. It's an active harm. The world is it's riddled with inequality and discrimination, and denying people knowledge is a huge part of that.
And that has a direct mental health impact.
A severe one. When you're systematically held back from learning, it just breeds this sense of helplessness, hopelessness. AI offers a way to sort of bypass those old barriers.
And the source material gives some pretty devastating real-world examples of this. It's not just a theory.
Exactly. I mean, we see state-level discrimination. Think about the denial of education to women and girls in Afghanistan, or how Baha'is are systematically barred from higher education in Iran.
These are intentional acts.
Intentional acts designed to stifle freedom.
Yeah.
And AI provides this neutral channel for knowledge that a regime can't just easily shut down.
Which makes that Gutenberg moment analogy feel so much more powerful. It wasn't just about books.
Oh, it was revolutionary. Before Gutenberg, knowledge was power, and that power was locked up, in monasteries, totally inaccessible. The printing press made books cheaper, more available, and that didn't just spread literacy.
It fueled the Enlightenment.
It fueled the Enlightenment, it kickstarted scientific inquiry, and it started to close that gap between the elite and everyone else.
So the parallel is that AI is the new engine for that, but like on steroids. It doesn't care about your gender, your religion, your passport. It just delivers the information.
And that directly contributes to better mental health and more equality. But that's really stunning, the technical side of it.
Okay, let's get into the weeds then. What are the specific advancements making this possible right now? It's more than just having Wi-Fi.
The big breakthrough is in AI translation. This really comes from a huge shift in deep learning, all stemming from this one revolutionary paper from 2017 called Attention is All You Need.
The paper that introduced the transformer architecture. That completely changed the game for how models understand context.
Precisely. The attention mechanism lets the model look at a whole sentence at once. It weighs which words are most important to each other rather than just reading left to right.
And the result is just massive scale and accuracy.
Right. AI translation now works, and works well, with over 100 languages.
The thing that really blew me away in the source, though, was the speed of it. The idea that an LLM can hit human-level translation with just a few thousand examples of a language. I mean, how does it learn a language like Kurdish with so little data online that fast?
That's a phenomenon called transfer learning, and it's the absolute core of an LLM's power. The model is first trained on basically all of documented human language, billions of texts in major languages.
So it learns the rules, not just words, but the rules of how language works in general.
Exactly. It figures out the global patterns, grammar, syntax, all of it. So when you introduce a low-resource language like Kurdish, it's not starting from zero.
It has a foundation to build on.
It leverages the rules it learned from huge related language families, say Farsi or Turkish. It then just needs those few thousand Kurdish examples to map its foundational knowledge onto the new language. It's incredibly efficient.
And we see that playing out in things like Wikipedia's translation feature, right?
Yeah.
It just instantly translates a whole article, keeps all the links, the citations. That's huge for researchers.
And the impact on education is just as profound, especially for personalized learning.
Oh, absolutely. The personalized tutoring aspect. You look at tools like Conmigo or the study and learn mode in ChatGPT. They can figure out where a student is struggling in real time.
It's not just giving answers, it's tutoring them at their own pace. That's the one-on-one attention that most classrooms just can't provide.
Right, and that fights so much frustration, which is a huge win for well-being.
And it helps the educators, too. The source mentioned instructors at the Baha'i Institute for Higher Education using AI to generate teaching slides, even with complex formulas, just instantly. It transforms content creation.
For high-level scientific research, it's a massive time saver. AI can do a literature review, but not just summarize. It can outline recent discoveries, map out who the key contributors are.
Compare and contrast different approaches. It lets researchers spend their time on innovation, not just slogging through archives.
So, to pull this all together, the goal is empowerment.
Yes, it's empowering marginalized groups, fighting discrimination, and increasing equity and opportunity. That is a direct path to improving global well-being.
Which leads us perfectly into the second major point, AI as a digital peacekeeper. Because if a lack of knowledge is one harm, then online toxicity, that's the direct enemy of well-being.
And it's a huge cause of mental health issues, especially for young people.
A huge cause.
And this isn't just online drama. Hate speech, which is, spreading lies or degrading content about groups based on who they are, their race, religion, whatever, it has profound real-world consequences.
The source makes it clear this stuff escalates to physical violence.
Tragically, yes. We saw social media used to facilitate massacres against the Muslim minority in Myanmar. We've seen online coordination drive persecution of African Americans in the U.S., and the burning of Baha'i houses in Egypt after targeted campaigns.
So what was the old challenge? Why did human review teams struggle with this?
It was the nuance, especially with state-sponsored campaigns like those against the Baha'is in Iran. A human moderator under pressure might completely miss the cultural subtext.
Right.
Like they wouldn't get the severe political weight of calling someone a Zionist in Iran, where that word is used by the state as a tool of persecution against the Baha'i community.
It's a localized political dog whistle.
It's a dog whistle, exactly. And LLMs, because they're trained on these massive global data sets, are much better at picking up on that complex contextual meaning. They see the patterns.
And they can do it in real time.
They do it in real time across hundreds of languages. That allows them to detect hate speech more effectively and, crucially, fact-check instantly.
That real-time capability is the game changer. It stops conspiracy theories from spreading like wildfire.
It's all about speed. The source of that great example with Grok on X, on Twitter, it just immediately debunked a false post from Al-Mayadin, and the post got taken down.
If that went through the old human pipeline, it'd have been up for hours, maybe days.
And the damage would be done. AI's intervention changes the math. It creates a healthier, safer online space, which can reduce anxiety, especially for young people.
So we've got democratizing knowledge and fighting online hate.
Right. But there's a third, more personal aspect here related to well-being, reducing burnout.
The automation side of things, giving us back some of our time and mental energy.
Exactly. AI can slash working hours by taking on the mechanical, repetitive stuff.
Data entry, basic translations, scheduling.
All the things that drain your energy. This automation lets people focus on creativity, on relational work, the parts of the job that are actually satisfying.
The result being less burnout and more time for your life, for your family. It all circles back to well-being. But we can't be too rosy here. We have to talk about the double-edged sword part of this, the flaws.
Absolutely. We have to. AI isn't a magic bullet. It still struggles a lot with bias, with toxicity, with just making things up.
And why is that? It was because of what it was trained on, right?
It's a structural problem.
Yeah.
The early LLMs were trained on the raw, unfiltered internet. And that includes, the absolute worst of humanity and all our prejudices and biases.
So if the machine learned our worst habits, how do you fix that? How can you actually debias a model like that?
That's the central challenge. And there are really two types of bias they're tackling. There's data bias, which you just mentioned, the garbage in, garbage out problem. But there's also algorithmic bias, which can come from the model's design itself.
Okay, so what are the big players like Google and OpenAI actually doing to mitigate this?
Well, the first step is intense data cleaning and curation using better data sets, feeding it accurate info about protected groups. But the more technical solution is something called RLHF.
Reinforcement learning from human feedback.
Right. Basically, after the model is trained, it gets fine-tuned. Human reviewers look at its answers and rank them for safety and helpfulness.
So they're teaching it good behavior, essentially.
You could say that.
So
The model gets rewarded for giving answers that align with human values, and it gets penalized for producing toxic or biased stuff. It's an iterative process that acts like a guardrail, nudging it away from its worst instincts.
which just confirms that this is a tool. It's not a replacement for us. It needs constant human guidance.
Exactly. The core message is empowerment, not replacement. AI has no emotional intelligence, no ethical compass. Its use has to be guided by human values, by strong global policies and regulations.
That guidance is what will make sure this technology actually helps, instead of making our existing problems even worse.
That's the work ahead.
This has been a really fascinating exploration. So to quickly recap the key takeaways for you, the listener, AI is proving to be a powerful tool for promoting global equity and digital safety. It's offering a real pathway to better mental health by getting knowledge to people who've been denied it and by offering protection from online harm and professional burnout.
And we'll leave you with this final thought to mull over. We've seen that AI's technical ability can handle these incredibly nuanced global problems, from translating obscure languages to spotting culturally specific, state-sponsored hate speech. So, given that unique power to pierce through walls of language and political control, what new global governance structures or international policies do we need to put in place? How do we make sure these tools are applied universally, ethically, to protect the most marginalized groups from the very campaigns the source highlighted? That question of universal protection, that's what we all have to wrestle with next.
Until next time.